ready, let's hear it for our champions of Europe, the
Very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone. What a night Saturday night was. Our fabulous ladies have made themselves heroes. They went to Lisbon, they beat the formidable Barcelona 1-0 and they brought the Champions League home. And we got a lot to discuss tonight. We got a lot to celebrate tonight and we got a bit of smuggery tonight as well, which obviously people are going to like to see. So yeah, a lot going on. But before I start, going to do my warm welcome. So firstly, over to my partner, Johnny Brooks. How you doing, mate? Can you hear us, John?
I was just having a go at my drink. Yeah, all good. I don't know if you can hear my mic. Yeah, try. My internet has gone up the wall, so if I disappear, it's because of that. It just started making all sorts of funny noises during the video.
No worries. I'll tell you what. I'll go over to Sparks. See how you doing, mate.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I don't need to go to yes, I'm all right. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, kind of glad the season's over.
Yeah, another long season has departed us, and we get ready for a new one. Gonna get a big warm welcome to Laura, who's got to join us tonight to talk about our ladies. Good evening, Laura.
Good evening, lads. It's nice to be on, and of course, nice to meet you all. And I'm looking forward to being on tonight's show.
Brilliant, and we're looking forward to hearing what you got to say, and a lot of celebrations to be had. And a very good evening to Georgie Boy as well. I'm going to say, yeah, right, what a legend this guy is, right? He went to Lisbon. He arrived back on Monday morning at 9:30, straight to the victory parade. And I'm surprised he's even on the show tonight. Like when I spoke to him about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I didn't even know if he'd make it home, for being totally honest.
Mate, as you can tell, bit worse for wear, but the positive of the weekend is that my liver didn't get admitted into intensive care. So I just about Katie McCabe, Liam, and Sparks, you'll notice, it reminded me of the nights out in the Big Red. I reckon Katie McCabe would fit him right there.
Yeah.
I think the coroner.
Yeah, so yeah. In the words of Leslie Russo, absolutely fucking buzzing. So.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
She wasn't the only one to drop the F-bomb as well.
Yeah. I think a lot would fit into the Big Red, the cigar pictures, the lot. I think, unbelievable. Just before we start the show, just going to go into the chat and say a few good evenings. Good evening to Catherine. How are you doing? She just got home from work in time to start to the show. So nice to everyone. Good evening to the Mr. Podcast himself, Ryan. Good to see you on, mate. He had a busy weekend doing two games and obviously all the emotions with the game on Saturday. Good evening to Pete G. How you doing, mate? Good to see you on. BX Gunners in the house. Good to see you, mate. Oh, we got our Tottenham friend, Mr. Scut. The checker trade winners of the European League, European tournament.
I've never known the standards of that club drop so much. they're actually dropping that as a set because we won all the European trophies. So the Conference League is now meaningful for that club. It's like the levels have dropped so much. It's
You want about
unreal.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
I was going to say, when was Spurs in the Conference League?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've seen the other one. I
Okay.
thought he was putting that in.
Good evening to G. Obviously got some pictures from her as well. She went to Lisbon. We went to Lisbon for North London. We won the Champions League. You certainly did. Got some fabulous pictures I'll get up soon. Good evening to Tarek. Good to see you on, mate. And I think that's about it at the moment. Is anyone else in? Oh, yeah, we got Gav.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, we got Gav in the house.
So
You're going to watch us win another European trophy tomorrow, Liam.
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to, not the top.
If you can call it that, Jesus.
Well, I'm trying to think of the non-league football, the FA Trophy. That's what it is of the European.
Or even worse, the FA Vars.
Not non-league South.
Or in Scotland, we call it a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Yeah. It's certainly that. It's certainly that. Anyway, we're going to kick off to the show. So Saturday night, massive game, 5 p.m. in Lisbon, Arsenal versus Barcelona. I'm going to go over to you first, Laura, because I know we were speaking off air. You was very confident that we could obviously deliver the performance and get the win on Saturday.
Yeah, as I said to yourselves before we came live, a family member had asked me if I was confident we were going to win, and I said yeah. I said straight off the back, yeah, like confident as hell. And sure, there we go. Went in. I would say we battered Barcelona. Defence, midfield, wingers, goal scorers. We battered them in all aspects of the game. And yeah, and then of course on the Sunday I messaged the family member and I said I told you so. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Champions League
Laura, did you bet on them? They were
no, I didn't. I should have.
They were 9-1. No, I should have done. They were 9-1 to win the game. Absolutely mental.
We should all put it on, really, shouldn't we?
We should have done, really. Yeah.
Someone we know put a bet on 1-0 Stina to win, to score the winning goal.
What were the odds?
They got 800 quid.
Ah, brilliant!
Nice.
That's an amazing bet.
Was it Darren Jobs?
No, it wasn't Darren. I ain't heard the end of that. So we've got someone on our podcast called Darren, and for the last 8-9 months he's been banning the Stina drum. And I went, mate, she's useless. She will not do nothing. I've proper slagged her to the hilt. So obviously I've always rated her.
George. Superstar George.
Yeah.
A big fan of yours.
It was a bit like Eddie and Ketty all over again.
Oh God! If only he'd done what she done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have a look at the team anyway. Obviously that went out. So obviously Daniela Van Domcel come back in, and obviously that was a big thing for me. To obviously replace Zinsberger. Emily Fox, Leah Williamson, Stephanie Catley, and Katie McCabe, obviously filling out the back four. Mariona Caldente, Little, and obviously Frida Marnham in midfield with Caitlin Fold, Chloe Kelly, and Russo up front. Going to go with you, George. Obviously, big news. Obviously, the goalkeeper coming back in, wasn't it? This, if we're being honest with you, Zinsberger's obviously had a bit of a nightmare few weeks in between the sticks. We'd conceded quite a few goals leading up to the game, obviously at Brighton, Aston Villa, and Manchester United. And we got a clean sheet in Barcelona, mate. Did you actually think we could get that clean sheet in Barcelona?
Right, there's two answers to this. Before the pre-match meet-up, no. After being in Pink Street, 7 beers down, then there was a right. I started to
underlying confidence.
I think like obviously Van Donsler being in goal was such a big movement in the final. Obviously Zinsberger, I think we all know like what people's thoughts are on Zinsberger. I know Charlie rates her, doesn't he? Like, but what I do think as well, there's no trust there with Zinsberger and the back four. Like people even like Leah Catley and Kate McCabe, I think they in the last few weeks they've had their eye off the ball. like Barcelona was the most important game at the end of the day. We weren't going to catch Chelsea. Let's just have it right.
Yeah.
So Barcelona was important. So yeah, I just think defensively as a unit they were brilliant. Like I'm the first one to criticise Leah Williamson in the past, but I thought that was her best game for Arsenal ever. I
Yeah.
can't think of another game where she's like played that well and just dominated it. I don't know, like there was times in the game where I wasn't as worried. I thought, do you know what, it's just about absorbing that pressure. If we absorb that pressure, then we can get the goal. Yeah, I just think you look at that Leah Williamson Steph Catley partnership, like no way would you have thought that would have worked when Renee took over. But the best managers do that, don't they? Like the real managers, not like the Swedish ones that we had before. So Renee,
Can't think who you're talking about.
no, exactly, mate. I just it's like Unai Emery of women's football he is. So, but yeah, so the back four, Van Donsel made some good saves as well. Like, geez, I could ban on for it for ages, Liam. I'm a mess, mate. Like every time I watch a video, I'm in tears. Like I even cried at the Jorginho video.
Yeah, that
what-
may be a bit
I don't know.
emotional there.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
No, you got every look. Let's be honest. You got every right to be emotional.
Yeah.
Obviously, you go and watch them home and away, what game in, game out. You travel everywhere with them across Europe. Do you know what I mean? You've seen something special on Saturday. Like when we talk about like the odds, like 9-1 in a final. That's massive. That's big. And to overcome them odds and go and win the game 1-0 is just, I just think it's colossal.
And I
And
just
like you
think it's like 18 years, mate. You know what I mean? Like the last time we won it was 18 years ago. Like Barcelona, we know they're probably the best team in the world. And for us to go and do what we done on paper, that squad shouldn't have really been anywhere near the final, if I'm being honest. But the two teams that have dominated the Champions League in the last 10 years are Lyon and Barcelona. We battered Lyon in their own country, and then we went to Barca and played Barca. Sorry, and I'm going to be smug, mate. We taught them a lesson. Taught them a footballing
Yeah.
lesson. So like you don't mess with Super Rene.
No, you don't. You don't. And before I carry on, I just want to say some more good evenings. Good evenings, James Patterson. Evening all. Always
Hey,
winning
James.
Steiner on the park. Darren Wells is in the house. Good to see you on, mate.
Hey, there he is.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hello, all. First time on the show. Looks good. More professional than Georgie's boys, anyway.
I don't know what that says, Liam, because you were the one who taught me. So.
Yeah. I'm not wine, mate. I got better with age.
Oh God.
Catherine saying there were 10 to 1 odds in the US speaks to how their US betting market works. Don't know football or women's football. She's saying that Daphne in goal made the back line more comfortable, and when you can trust a keeper like that, the back line will shine. Beat's kind of saying Arsenal women just shook up the game. And they did. When we think about the first half, right? Obviously, we had the goal that disallowed. Obviously, we had the sorry, my screen went black there. We had the goal that was disallowed, didn't we, for offside? Where obviously on Frida. Then she had that shot that was obviously superbly tipped over. And then Kim Little even had a great chance. I know John, you was watching it. Was you surprised how well we started in that first half and took it to them?
I mean, I have to say, obviously, not knowing women's football as well as quite a few of you, hearing about this Barcelona super team and how they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and how they battered Chelsea and how great Chelsea are. So I was pleasantly surprised. And I have to say, Arsenal was superb. They made this super team of Barcelona look average, to be honest. I mean, there wasn't really any part of the game where I was like, oh, they're really hanging on here. This is going to be really, really scary. They had a few chances, but I thought, defensively, I mean, Leah Williamson, as George said, she was amazing. Steph Catley alongside her was superb. Just defensively, I know like you've always said about the dodgy keeper, and obviously the last few league games, they've shipped loads of goals, but they were disciplined, solid. They didn't panic. They just did all the simple things correct. Yeah, no, it's a brilliant performance.
It's going to go to Sparks as well. It's quite interesting, isn't it, when you do play like a team that apparently is above your grade, that actually you set yourself up more structured, don't you? You make yourself solid, which is the first thing, and that's what we did on Saturday. We set up from the back line and set ourselves up to be solid. And we know we got the capability of obviously hitting teams on the counter attack, especially when you got Caitlin Ford, Chloe Kelly, and Russo up top. We've got the firepower, and that's not even including Caldente and Frida in that. Was you pleasantly surprised in terms of how the team took it to Barcelona?
I thought their approach was really good, to be honest. I thought I've seen previous matches that where they kind of got smashed off the park, and it was completely different performance all around the pitch, to be honest. And it was obviously it had to be, and it was like not necessarily taking the game straight to them, just kind of letting them come on a little bit. And yeah, it was an all round solid performance, and you know, even as it got later and later in the game, it didn't really look like they were stressing that much. It looked like they were in control of things. There was a couple of moments where they could have broken through, and a couple of dodgy moments. But you're going to get that. I mean, you're playing a world class team, but I think they were very composed, very structured, and yeah, they broke when they needed to break, and ultimately, when it actually mattered, you know, you keep a clean sheet. It always exposes you just to get that one goal and actually win the game.
Yeah, definitely. Just before I carry on, I'm just going to obviously get up some kind of pictures that obviously G sent over to me in Lisbon. Some really good pictures that way. Here's one picture here. Obviously, everyone out, obviously drinking before the game. Looks like a very
Is this Pink
nice
Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very,
So the whole line of the whole street, it's got like bars and everything about. It's just the floors. It's all pink.
Hang on.
There must have
What's
been
that thing in
about.
the sky? Is that blue sky and sunshine? What's that like?
We haven't seen that for a few days.
Don't get me started on that. Like Jesus.
Yeah.
But
I
there probably
don't
was
see much of that
thousands
in
there.
Scotland.
No.
What's that? I don't see much of that in Scotland.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing as well, because obviously Barcelona play in that kind of temperature all the time, and to actually play the way they did and basically give everything for the whole duration of the game in like upwards of 25 degrees, you know, is even more impressive that they actually held it all together.
Yep.
Yeah. Next one's obviously obviously the fan park, which they do for all the kind of big European finals. You can see obviously there's quite a lot of people around. Obviously, good spirit. Just ask you to go back to you, George, on it, because you was obviously there. What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was good. So on the Friday, they done like my mate Alex Scott, absolutely love her. She was there. So she was doing that presentation with Emma Mitchell, just talking about it all, and so there was a lot of Arsenal fans there. There was a lot of Barcelona ones, and then just as it went on, obviously the chanting started, and then more and more Barca fans started to turn up. I think they were hearing about how basically Arsenal fans had took over. So it carried on the chanting, and then someone put it on Twitter and said, "This looks like the start of a civil war," like because it was just like loads of Arsenal fans just circling the Barcelona fans. No, it was really good. And then Saturday, the whole atmosphere throughout the day just built and built. It was really weird, Liam, because I was not nervous at all. Like, and that was before drinking. I just thought, oh, we're in the final. Like what Sparks said, you're going up against like a super team like Barcelona. To even be there, like you think, oh, you never know, we might get one chance. That's it. But yeah, the whole atmosphere was good. It was like from when I first started going to the women's games to now, it's like a complete different picture. Like the whole of that pink street was just dominated by Arsenal. You even had, we were standing there, and Taya Goldie just walked past. Like, and was like thinking she weren't going to get heard, and then everyone started singing her name, and then so like you had Ian Wright around. Like, it was just a whole welcoming place. And I was talking to some people who you might know, John Williamson. He goes to a lot of the men's games, and he was saying that he's never seen a fan zone or anything took over like that, just in football generally. So I think that needs to be spoke. What the supporters club have done, what the women's supporters club have done as well, like getting everyone all in the same place. It's atmosphere is really, really good.
Yeah, there's something I do actually want to kind of touch on a little bit later in the show is around obviously the growth of the game, but also the growth of the fan base, and obviously where does that take us now in terms of obviously the success. So that will be something we do touch on a bit later. Got another obviously picture here. Do you know what? Right, I was looking at this picture, but I don't know what you think, Sparksy. Arsenal as a club could take a bit of knowledge on this one if they ever want to do an appropriate typho next time. The banner here, we all follow the Arsenal Overland Sea. I think it's an absolute superb banner, that. And I think if that was something like we'd put quite across the North Bank and being massive, that would look good, wouldn't it?
Yep.
And the next one.
Sorry,
Yes, it was.
I'm talking.
Sorry, I can't see you.
I got you back, Liam. Don't worry.
Sorry. I don't know why that went off. It's really good. I'm not sure if they're actually. You actually have to get approval for those.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Like, because obviously I know the supporters club have their general ones that they have to kind of get vetoed by the club, but then there has been a couple of people that have took their own sort of personal banner spots as well, like you said. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. So it might be a supporters club one. So
probably is, but it'd be nice to get some certainly better, definitely from the actual club themselves if they're going to take over the duties of putting tifos up.
You would be happy, Laura, because after the game, 3 or 4 people would letting flares off and everything. So
that's my type of thing, innit? A good old player.
Not that Laura's a terrorist or anything. Just
no, I'm not.
I'm glad you cleared that up, George.
Yeah.
I'm not. At the Leon game, I just handed about 6 out, and that was it.
Such a Celtic fan, that's what it is.
It's in my blood.
Obviously this one just shows the stadium. Splendid looking stadium, 40,000, well, just under 40,000 were in the stadium to watch obviously the biggest game in the women's calendar.
But let's just remember, no one cares about women's football though.
No, but there you go.
Could I just say something a bit negative about the stadium, actually? Yep. So I was talking when I met G up with G, so it was good to see her. Like, we both agreed it was absolutely a disaster. Like, typically UEFA, so you wasn't allowed to take anything in. So just imagine this is 28, 29 degrees. The Arsenal was directly in the sun. So you weren't allowed to take any empty water bottles in or nothing like that. So to queue to get some water, it was a 45-minute wait. And I just thought it was absolutely disgusting that obviously in that heat and they're not allowing people to get water as a lot less time than that. And I just think, I don't know if it's a UEFA thing where they just don't know how to organise a piss up in a brewery probably, but I just think 45 minutes in that sort of heat, and you've got children there and people that can't just walk out and get a drink. I just think that at least have a water fountain or something. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
it's interesting because I went to the UEFA Cup final in 2018. It was Atletico Madrid versus Lyon. And I had a ticket, obviously, before that. And I was obviously asked for the semis, but I still went. And I found just the whole accessibility getting into a stadium. It was an absolute farce. And I don't know. It just seems to be that this seems to be a common theme, especially when obviously these big games and big finals that it doesn't seem like they're planned well. If I'm being totally honest with you, and what you're saying is that it seems that they're obviously not really in touch with everything that's going on around the day and everything that kind of stuff.
But you just won't know to take anything in. Like there's people that had their sun cream took off of them, and like empty bottles of water, and it was just like you think in that heat as well. Like, I just think that's so wrong. Or fine, you don't want to take.
Just no common sense, is there?
No, like an empty bottle of water. What harm can that do? It's like I'm not have a word. It's plastic. It's not going to cut someone in the head, is it? Like, or there ain't no like any liquids or anything hidden if it's empty. But or just have water fountains that you can just go up to and fill up, or have more people on. Like 45, 50. There was someone at the game who took their children. He had to wait an hour and 10 minutes to get his 7-year-old a drink of water.
But even if the stewards were going about handing cups of water out, then I'm pretty sure people would have been happy with that one. But no, I'm really sure. I'm positive this happened to Rangers when they were in the Europa League final two seasons ago against Frankfurt, and they were the same. They couldn't get any water in any of the stadium either.
Yeah, it's a slight negative.
It just seems like a common theme between UEFA.
Yeah, it's a slight negative, but that was the only thing that was from an amazing day. That was the only thing that I think maybe is UEFA, like you said, Liam, don't know how to organise anything or plan it that well.
Well, you certainly don't know how to organise.
They can't even organise their Champions League draw. It takes them about 3 hours.
Darren saying watching the game live, it seemed an even game. However, the stats tell another story. However, defending is all part of the game and we bossed it. Plus, the only stat that matters is the scoreline, which is that totally bang on the buzzer there. James saying said it from 20 minutes in. Barcelona thought it was in the bag and hit the panic button with a disallowed goal, and Steener's killed them from then as they were out of ideas. It's interesting as well, isn't it? I'll go back to you, Laura. Obviously, she's a big game player, isn't she? Like, this is the third final now that she's turned up in and basically won us the game.
Yeah, of course. It's always a running theme that she's never on side, but she was on side for that one. She never missed that one. But yeah, Stina always shows up in the big games. Man City, Chelsea in the Conti Cup a few seasons ago. Yeah, as much as we take the piss at the girl, you've got to hand up to her. She deserves that one, and I think she made a lot of put her words back in my mouth again. I surely did. I was on, of course, doing the watch along on George's podcast, and my God, I was screaming from the heavens that I bloody love Stina. So yeah, got to hand it to
Stina as well. Her mentality is what does it. Like, Darren's probably going to fall off his chair now because it's a running joke.
I'm about to fall off my chair, George.
I never say anything positive about Stina, but the mentality that she has, like, fine, there's a lot of games that she misses loads of chances, but to have that mentality that in cup finals she can just have that one chance and it's a goal. Like, I don't know anyone else who does what she does. Sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. Is that enough what you want throughout the whole season? But then she just won us the fucking Champions League. So, yeah, I'm just going to...
And what's very refreshing about...
Yeah, basically.
What's also very refreshing about Stina is she's very, very humble. You could see that through the celebrations. You could see that at the end when the players were shoving her to of course, go back to the fans and be like, hey, she was just kind of like, okay, in a way back. She's very, very humble, and that's nice to see in a player, especially when we have big game players in our team that kind of take over the spotlight. Katie McCabe, but yeah,
I don't know what you mean.
She's my hero now. I tell you, like.
Yeah, so it's just nice to see. It's refreshing to see, and of course, that also shows young girls out there that could also look at Stina and say, you know what, she could be shy, but she's still out there chasing a dream and doing what she's doing.
Definitely. I'm just going to go into some more chat. G's obviously fan part was top tier. Unfortunately, they closed it after the game. She's also back to kind of George's kind of views. The organisation was horrid and scary at times, which is not nice to hear. BX Gunners just saying that even the women's Typho was better than the men's. Chris in the house. Good evening, Chris. Well done to Liverpool for winning the Premier League. Just whilst I'm on here, obviously wishing everyone, obviously, very best who was sadly involved in that horrific incident last night. Just obviously, what I will say is like, look at being on X and all that kind of stuff. Just incredible people, like supporting people after getting people home and that kind of stuff. So obviously, well done to them people. But yeah, just an awful evening, really, in general. G's obviously said, and they pushed us all through one turnstile. Which was inside where
I was going to mention that one of them just started pushing me. I thought, who the fuck's that? Didn't even know.
This happened the other year in the Liverpool, the men's Champions League. Paris or something?
PSG.
And it all kicked off in there. The final. Yeah, it seems to be.
It was just treated like G. I don't know. G might agree or might not. It just felt like we were treated like a herd of animals at one stage. I just pushed all through one turnstile. Yeah, well, one of them started waving at me like to go in. Like, mate, you're a bit lost on me, mate. You know what I mean? Like, and my friend who I was with had to say, like, yeah, he can't see. Yes, yeah. So I could have still been waving at me at full time. I want to know.
Darren just said one positive. They let us stay up to 2 hours after the final whistle celebrating. Other than that, George is actually spot on. James Patterson, it did no working water, only tap, I'm sure, was working. Was the only one that was working was in the toilet.
Yeah, he's talking about the Rangers game. That's my husband.
That was like at the game on Saturday. Like, so some of you know him, Sam. He works for the committee as well. He looked at me and said, "You look like you're going to pass out." So the only way he could get me a drink was having to go into the toilet, and they had sort of drinkable water. I think until the filter run out, maybe. And so, yeah, that was the only way we could have got a drink. But that was just like still like I know a few people who'd done that and then end up ill the next day. So still not humane, is it? Really?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's not really
hygienic,
is it?
It's day of age.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Obviously, got one in the house who took his daughter to see the Women's Champions League trophy live at the Emirates on Monday.
Disgusting.
Finally, my girls get to see Dad really happy and asked to win a major trophy. I hope she had a superb day. So obviously let's move on. Let's talk about the second half. Obviously, really good first half performance. I thought, if anything, as I said, we had the better chances and could have easily gone in there 1-0 to the break. Second half, obviously, Barcelona started to get into a gear a little bit more than obviously they had done, and they hit the crossbar. Just going to go over to you, Sparks. At this point, obviously, for me, it looked like I thought we was going to get extra time, if I'm being totally honest. I wasn't worried. I'll be honest, I wasn't worried whatsoever about us conceding, which is quite strange, really, considering obviously before the game I was really worried about Barcelona in general. But I just felt that we was in control still, and even though Barcelona did push on a bit, I did feel that we was going to take it to extra time, if I was being totally honest, before the Steiner goal.
Yeah, it did for me as well. It had all the earmarks really of kind of carrying on and it going the extra 30 minutes and whatever. But the subs that happened, that it changed kind of the system a little bit, made it a little bit more compact, but allowed the a bit more fluidity up top. Provided they stayed onside and managed to do that. So obviously the goal happened. They looked like really arrogant for about 60 minutes.
Yeah,
Barcelona did. They just looked like they were just breezing. Like they just thought it was gonna come to them, and then like the last half an hour they seemed really panicked. They just seem to be seem to be a switch kind of happen that they just kind of didn't believe it anymore, or they'd have to force it a bit more than they had been doing. So I think the changes kind of capitalized on that a little bit, and yeah, they got the goal. So yeah, fair play to them.
And what a luxury, and like what a luxury to have. Like you've got Stina, who's turned up in all our finals to get the winner, but Beth Mead as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the shadow injuries, we know that over the last like year and a half, but she's still got that quality, hasn't she? And she showed that on Saturday night.
I mean, it's every time. She every time I've seen her play, she's just a game changer. Absolutely, yeah. Beth Mead is just something else. I think that the last Champions League game I saw her play, she kind of missed a header, and that's the first thing I've seen her do wrong in like any game I've watched her play. To be honest with you, she's always seemed to be making a difference in a positive way. So it's kind of a bit of an anticlimax to see when she's doing something a bit negative, but absolutely, you know, putting that ball through to Stina was just something else, really.
I'm going to go back to you, George. Kim Little, thought she yet again.
Oh, mate, Kim
absolutely superb. Honestly, like, I'm one of her biggest fans. I think she's been incredible all season. But yet again, she turned up, didn't she?
Yeah, mate. Kimmy Esther, I call her. Like, you know, like I'll just call it out for what it is. Like, there's some people in the women's fan base that think they should be like sent to the graveyard when they hit 28, like because like apparently that's too old. But Kim Little, like, is I don't know, like she deserves a statue outside the Emirates for me. I was so really happy for her. Like, she's been waiting all those years just to pick that Champions League up. But like you said, Liam, since she was out with an injury earlier in the season, but since that injury, like I think she had a finger operation. Like, I don't know what the doctor gave her, but like she has been absolutely brilliant. She's led from the front as well. Like, a lot of people don't look at it like that because she's quiet. It's like she's shy. She's not like Katie McCabe. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I think the people that watched it at the parade, you saw that. Like, but how Kim Little has drove this team to where it should be, it's just amazing. I can't big her up any more, mate. Like, there's a reason we sing 10 more years, Kimmy Little. So, like, she could play for another 10 years. Probably won't, but she could. I think she's one of those players when she gets to 34, 35.
And I think the key word you said there is drove. Sorry.
Yeah, young to you, Brooks.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but I think the key word you said there is drove, and that's what she does all the time, isn't it? that's what she does. She drives the team forward, don't she? And she does it game after game after game. And when you think like at her age as well, she just reminds me like a little bit like, I don't want to say his name, but like she's that kind of player, and she like where Paul Scholes was. Do you know what I mean? He just carried on and carried on and carried on. Do you know what I mean? And that's what she is, isn't she?
Yeah, I just think, like you said, she drives like every performance though. Like, she'll be playing most 80, 90 minutes in every game. Like, she don't deserve. So she don't expect anything less from any of those players. Like, she's Arsenal through and through. Like, winning that Champions League is all that she deserved as well. Like, I can't like. Everyone goes on about Leah Williamson, England captain, all that. Yeah, but Kim Little is what puts that team where it is.
That's true. It's true.
Sorry, what he's laughing at, George, is Scotty just said Brooksy is only 21. He's just had a hard paper round.
And it rained today.
I thought it was 21 plus VAT, so that's fine.
Yeah. Plus a few years.
I'm going to go back over to you, Laura, quickly before I go to John. Obviously, Chloe Kelly, she's coming, isn't she? Obviously, she was probably looking in January. Where was she going to go? What was she going to do? Do you know what I mean? It was going really badly for her Man City. She comes into Arsenal, obviously. Unfortunately, we had Man City the first couple of games, didn't we, when she first come in?
Yeah.
But she's had a really good impact, isn't she, on the side? And she wants to stay here, doesn't she?
Yeah, definitely. I don't even so much think that she's had an impact just on the pitch. I think she's had an impact in the dressing room as well. Just how bright she makes everything. Like she's always like, like she's giving it like up and dancing and bringing the cheer to the dressing room. I think just for Chloe as well. And yeah, definitely I don't know if anyone's seen it, but the video of her in the trolley after the celebration yesterday, she was giving it loudy, and yeah, she definitely wants to stay.
She was looking for George.
I was on my way there when she was there as well. So
yeah. And even in
You were too busy with Katie McCabe.
Yeah, that's off the show, mate.
Even when the girls obviously got the trophy on Saturday after lifting it, she was right over giving it the good old badge tap and doing this, pointing like she knows. I think she knows she definitely wants to stay. And of course, she's got a smile back, and it's nice to see, especially in a player of Chloe Kelly's stature. I don't think a player like that should have been put down the way she was at Man City, and yeah, it's nice to see that Arsenal are lifting her back up again.
It's a nice fingers up her, isn't it, really?
I think she's already signed, if I'm honest.
James said that.
Yeah.
James said that he thinks she's already signed, and she
officially can't say nothing because her contract with Man City don't end until like June, July. So, but I think she's already signed.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of. She's got a lot of obviously support in that in the chat. G saying sign the ting, Chloe. Catherine saying give Kelly a proper contract. And Catherine also saying I love that Kelly said that she thought about taking a break from football, and then Arsenal came along and she said welcome home. Definitely. Like going over to you, John. Obviously, we had all the big cheeses in the house as well. Josh Cronker flew over for the game. Tim Lewis was in there. Richard Garlick was there, and obviously the women's director of football, Claire Wheatley, was there as well. It was good to see, obviously, Josh over there, wasn't it, for the big game? Just to obviously give the backing, because I think, as you said, Laura, at times there's still that perspective at times where people give it the old, well, it's only women's football as such. Do you know what I mean? So what I love about this club is that, and in my opinion, and I've said it for the last 2 years, we've led from the front in Europe in terms of giving the girls a platform with the stadium, like making sure they play in there the majority of the time now. And the club have been absolutely superb, in my opinion, in terms of obviously pushing the game forwards. And I feel that as a club, we've probably done it more than anyone else. And I feel that we're reaping the rewards for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly become the last couple of years much more of a, not just the Arsenal women's and the men's. It's merged into that one big, not family, but I don't think other clubs get it. It's like when we were saying people during the week, oh yeah, we won a trophy. Oh, they don't count. They don't seem to get it. It's like, say, if like Liverpool women's team won something, they wouldn't care because they're so distant and they don't really have the same. Obviously, we play all our games at home now. I think next season every home game for the women is going to be at the Emirates as well. We get a lot of fans, nearly 50,000 for every women's home game, more or less. No other team gets that. Whether they'll throw more money at it, because it still makes me laugh in this day and age. Like the world transfer fee for the women is like nothing compared to the men.
Yeah. Yeah, she has snoring, Darren. I do apologise.
I thought it was George.
I've got a little friend, Shane. She just snores like mad. She does it on our podcast as well.
It means I ain't got to listen. It means I ain't got to listen to Darren talk shit as much. So.
Yeah, it's misty.
I feel the other thing as well, John, is that obviously in terms of the recruitment side of it as well, isn't it? Like, if I'm being totally honest with you, when I look at the men's game and then look at the women's game, I look at, like, in terms of the attacking players that we've got in the women's team is where we want to get to with the men's team, isn't it? But But when you start looking at, like, you've got Beth Mead, Chloe Kelly, Stina, Alessia Russo, do you know what I mean? That, like, these are incredible options to have, aren't they? Caitlin Ford, for example, like, they have got a lot of options, haven't they?
They've got an embarrassment of riches, isn't they?
Yeah, they have, haven't they? That's the difference, isn't it?
We wouldn't mind Leslie Russo, would we, up front?
And the bench is what that's what I've always said. I always bang on about in the men's game, squad depth. Get the strength of the squad. For the women, look at the bench, all the people they were bringing on, like Beth Mead, player of the tournament when they won the Euros. It's, who are we bringing on? Ben White, bless him, another fullback. That's not, it's just, they just seem to identify all the attacking players like that. Mariona Caldentene, whatever she's called. But,
you nearly done it.
You nearly got there, mate. You nearly got there.
I mean,
I was going to be well proud of him. I was going to say, he's nailed it.
I mean, that's a mad signing. You think about it. She's won 3 in a row now for 2 different sides. There's lessons to be learned from how the women seem to be signing the players compared to the men, where they just seem to do it instead of spending 4 months saying, "Oh, we might sign him. Oh, we might sign him." Nah, we'll just sign someone shit. It's just talking about you.
Just going to go to you, Sparksy, quickly. Obviously, John just said about Caldente. Now, let's be honest, she has been a revelation, hasn't she, signing? Obviously, when she come in, it was a big signing. She's moved from Barcelona to us, but she's another one, isn't she, that she's probably had a massive impact. A bit like you said, Laura, probably not just on the pitch, but off it as well, in terms of professionalism, the way she trains and the way she plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we're used to them going the opposite way, aren't we? From us to Barcelona, even again with the men's team. So it's bringing in quality players for the women's team is just crazy. Getting Russo as well from Man United as well. So it's great to see that that top players are coming in. Not sure what happened with the likes of Chloe Kelly and why she was kind of outcast, but all pleasure to us to have them on our side, and they can club together and win big things, and you never know, next year maybe they even retain it.
That cost us £0 British.
And just that Darren saying, obviously, get the checkbook out and sign Bon Matti.
I'm going to pick him up on that.
They'll want to come now.
I'm going to pick him up on that. Bon Matti, I called her liver patty on Saturday, mate. Like, she was. I did not rate her one bit.
Liver
Like,
patty.
she was not any better than Frida Mornham. I'm just saying, but like, I weren't that impressed. Not going to lie. I felt like saying, like, on the men's side, are they all that? Like, you know what I mean? But I think Claire Wheatley has got a lot of abuse in the women's game for what some of the transfers she's bought, because there's been positions that we should have probably invested in that we haven't at the right time. But I do think sometimes we don't have that balance, Liam, as well.
Yeah.
Is that people are right saying, "Oh, well, she always buys lionesses," but fucking hell, she's bought Van Dunselaar, Emily Fox, Mariona, Russo. We just won the Champions League, like, so. Kind of have that balance of the thing that Claire Wheatley has been able to bring these players in. So she must have something about her. Like, if we're looking at it, the men's game, like when we talk about Edu in the past, how many times whoever else was there before, we've been like, oh yeah, we've been linked. Like, how long ago was we linked with Benzema? That, like, it was black and white when we were signing him, wasn't it? Like, it went on that long. So I just think Claire Wheatley does deserve some sort of praise for us, probably from us winning the Champions League. I'm not saying she does everything right, but she's not the monster and as useless as everyone thinks.
Catherine saying, just going on Darren's comment, someone on X was like, there is a vision. Kim Little's contract's up in 26, so is Bon Matty's. So is Bon Matty's at the time. So potentially sign her on a free when Kim retires. Could you see something like that happen, George?
I'm not 100% sure. Potentially, but I think if they're going to go for someone, it'll be Sam Kofi from the one who plays for America, I think. But I don't know. Like that, I think this summer's interesting. I think they probably will look at someone to play in that number 6 role. Where have we heard that before? Because obviously Kim can't play for 150 years because she's not like the one out of Austin Powers that we can just freeze her, like bring her back and then like that. So yeah, I because I see it like now. I don't see us not getting a player because how much of an attractive option is it, Liam, to say why don't you come to the champions of the world? And under Rene, I think we've got a very good chance of winning that WSL. I know we was quite far behind this season, but if we're going to win it under anyone, it'd be Rene. So yeah, I could see it, but I don't think it's highly likely.
Well, it is a good point you've made in terms of now we've won the Champions League. Where does that take us in terms of the attractions? You know what I mean? Like,
got to be a different level, isn't it? Like,
I think it was a different level when you look at like the attraction of playing at the Emirates Stadium nearly every other week. But now you put the Champions League trophy in front of that as well, it becomes an absolute game changer, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like you say, like with the crowds, like the players like playing in front of big crowds. Let's remember that as well.
Yeah.
We've got that Champions League football already secured anyway. We haven't got to play in the qualifying rounds like a small club in Manchester and Man United. So yeah, like and we're normally in a sort of a title race anyway, Liam, as well. Like we know it's normally between Arsenal, Chelsea, City, or United. So I'd like to ask if people said they're not an attractive option, why not? What I think sometimes we could even be more attractive than Chelsea, and the only reason that is because Chelsea, their fans in the women's game. Sorry, Gav, if you're watching, but they're not the they're not the greatest. So, and I think with Chelsea, they just the difference with them, they put their money where their mouth is. They do what they've got to do, and that's it. Like they'll buy 30 players, and so maybe it's a Chelsea club model. But I just think it's Arsenal. Surely have got to be like one of the most attractive options in women's football at the moment, especially now.
Can I just touch on that a little bit? Sorry, like the whole. If you look at Lucy Bronze's video when she first signed for Chelsea, and you look at Kira Walsh's video and whatever, they're asked what exactly what attracted you to Chelsea, and it was they're the only top side in the English league that are going for Champions League. What happened to it this season? Because you never won it.
Well,
you got nowhere near it. So, to me, if you look at if there's two players that are looking at that kind of thing, and they're just looking at an English team to go and win the Champions League with, players are now going to look at Arsenal and go, "Well, they've won it twice. Their name's on that trophy. I'm going to start looking at Arsenal." Well, hopefully.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, isn't it? It's going to be a big attraction. I think it was a big attraction anyway, as I've previously said. And with the fan base now, and this is the thing I was going to say to you, Law, like we've been attracting the fans, but does this now pull even more fans in, like into the stadiums? Does it pull more fans in going away to games and all that? Like we see the scenes like in Lyon, Madrid, and obviously Lisbon.
Yeah,
more fans are going to get involved in this as well, aren't they?
I think through the seasons we were attracting more fans anyway, just with how we do our marches and of course like the meetups and stuff. Of course myself and my husband travel all the way from Scotland like once a month to go to a game, and I have never felt so welcome in anywhere that I have ever been as much as I'm welcome at, of course, like meetups, sitting in block 10 with the supporters group. Like it's if anybody isn't in that kind of atmosphere, then you're missing out. And of course, that's what other clubs are missing. They're missing that bond between each fan. Not only likes of that, you've got likes of George, like we know George and things like that, but we also know the biggest variety of other people round about us.
Yeah.
So I think that's just what other clubs are missing out in. And of course, that's what makes us the best fans in the WSL. We're loud, we're proud, and we're there for our team no matter what.
I think just saying what you said, Liam, is a perfect example. So Arsenal's Women's Supporters Club had 2,500 followers on Saturday morning. They now, on Sunday, it went up to 16,000.
Right,
Yes.
good.
So
Yeah.
Big
just-
impact.
Yeah, I mean, just that Champions League win, I think globally, it's not even like nationally. I think globally will make Arsenal fans come from far. Like we had 4,500, 5,000 in Lisbon, like that we know of. So I think you could probably add a couple thousand onto that. Like we've been breaking records, taking people like the fans when like to places like Valerenga and Oslo. Like, mate, like fuck that was cold. Like that was cold. That was like -3. I was using my cane and I needed a scraper just to try and unfold it. I think it was that cold. So there's a story about that actually. You might like this. I think Brooksy will. So we was walking like up the stairs, and so I'm the only one who can't see. So obviously I need to try and find the handrail, don't I? So someone went, "Oh no, sorry, I need that handrail because I'm on crutches." And I went, "But I can't see." They went, "Oh yeah." And then as they walked back, they stepped on black ice and went flying. So I thought, all right, there you go. But yeah,
Yeah, good on it.
like Laura said, the whole fan base
Good
is
lad.
so like welcoming. Like obviously with the men's games, when we go in the Coronet, obviously we know us guys and all that, but sometimes there's people in there, isn't there, that you don't know, like you've not seen them before. But when we have the women's fans in there, like everyone seems to know everyone. Everyone's like kind and caring. You're not gonna like I could walk around and bump into someone and they're not gonna like say, "Oh, you shouldn't be in here," or that sort of thing. So I just think the fan base is growing and growing, and G will probably say the same. It's like it's a very like you have people from like Scotland, Ireland, Australia. I think we had someone who travelled from Asia all the way to the final. So it's mad, really. So and then you get like even like with the famous people as well. Like when you say like your Ian Wrights and Tim Stillmans, like they talk to you like it's like you're just like not normal, but I don't know if that's the right word, but you just chat to them, but like and the only I think the closest I come to that is when I saw Eddie and Ketty's arm. You know what I mean? So and we all know that how that went.
I was going to say, George, what is normal? What is it? Just looking at some obviously other chat. G's obviously back in. Obviously, everything is saying the amazing thing is each game I have met more people, made more friends with females, had great chats, and obviously become friends with more people, which is good to see. So, like you say, like there is a good atmosphere, isn't there? Like it is growing all the time. And when you look at the scenes of yesterday in terms of at the Emirates, outside the stadium, people are piling out there like 8 at 9 o'clock in the morning. And this be honest, like I was a little bit disappointed, to be fair. Like I think they deserve to obviously have the open top bus and everything. Do you know what I mean? Like I do think it is a little bit disappointing that hasn't happened, but at the same time, it was really good to see the amount of people that were piling the streets yesterday and people coming from all over to do it. What I will say is, obviously Sparks has got to leave, so cheers. Thank you very much, mate, for coming on.
Cheers,
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry, I
Sexy.
just got to shoot.
No worries, cheers.
Right.
But yeah, it's obviously great to see it. And as you say, like I think what will happen now is that a lot more of our younger generation fans, obviously females, they want to get involved in this a lot more. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of it at times is having the confidence to be able to go to these games. But when they go to the games, they get treated so well that actually it builds their confidence up. And I think it's the same in the men's game, isn't it, George? We know quite a few people have been like that who didn't go to the games previously, were given an opportunity to come into a group and then never left, basically.
Yeah, it's like how we all met, really. Like I myself, I used to go to the games, but I would just be sat, not in a bad way, just sat in the corner of a pub and then it was like that. But then I obviously met you guys, and then we all kind of made the group. So like with Jonesy G, and it just it feels like a family more than just mates, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So no, it is very good, and I think that culture will continue and obviously grow, which is great to see. I've got some pictures here before we kind of wrap up on the women's side.
I hope they're not embarrassing.
No,
Had the nudie ones. Go on.
I wouldn't bother me. I can't see them anyway. So.
You know what though? I'm really disappointed in myself because I've got all of them up and then I've missed the main one. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly. I can't find it anyway. But let's get the rest of them up. So it's the cigar pictures, guys. We know how I like a cigar picture, but I'm gutted because I've got all the pictures up, and I thought like the Chloe Kelly one up, and I ain't got it up, which is poor of me. But yeah, look at that one.
Is it the Chloe Kelly one with Leah Williamson?
Yeah.
That one.
Here we go. Let me do it. Yeah, but that's my favourite picture.
Yeah, it's good. That.
That is absolutely superb, honestly.
Yeah.
She basically she's caned it. She's caned it.
Yeah.
She has smashed it.
She's definitely staying.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's definitely staying.
Yeah.
You can just imagine that as well, can't you? From a,
you can tell she's still you can tell she just smashed.
Oh yeah, she's battered, mate. She's battered.
I looked at her Snapchat just before they did the parade, and I said to obviously James, my husband, I was like, she is smashed. And I put in the group chat.
Play football for Ireland, didn't she? That on Friday.
Yeah, she just arrived. They put a video of her up, and the first thing they handed her was a bottle of water.
She ain't playing.
It's really funny. So, like when she first got on the mic, she was like, it all went quiet, and then all you heard her in an Irish, like a really drunk accent say, is, "Oh shit!"
This is the thing. I don't think any cup final should be played till after the season finishes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And obviously there she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loves a cigar. We know that. Loud and proud as well. So there's some superb cigar pictures there, guys. Obviously, massive congratulations to Renee in the team. They've come home as legends, and yeah, hopefully they push on for the new season. And we'll be interested to see what happens in the summer in terms of transfer activity as well. So yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Definitely. We're going to go to the men's side, and obviously kind of discuss the Southampton game on Sunday. It's probably the least coverage we've ever done of the men's game. There's a good reason why that is, but I'm just going to go with you, John. Obviously, last game of the season, Southampton away. The team sheet kind of showed that there was nothing in it was there for the game. Ben White obviously played again, which was good. Kivior obviously kept his place as well. But there was obviously some different players coming in, wasn't there, in terms of Kieran Tierney in his last ever game. Zinchenko come in as well, obviously at left back.
Hopefully his last game.
I knew you was going to say that. Then we had Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Waneri in there. Martinelli and Sterling was in there. Raheem Sterling.
It's just bizarre.
Is that a Chelsea reject? Or?
It's a stinger.
Arsenal reject now.
All the times you could have played him when he might have actually needed him, and he plays him. It's just I just don't get it. Why bother playing him at all?
I'm going to go to you, Laura, because we got to celebrate, haven't we? A good thing about Sunday, and I know,
Go on, Tierney.
I know it'll be close to your heart. Kieran
Yeah,
Tierney,
yeah.
I absolutely love the guy. I just think he's been so unlucky with injuries at Arsenal, but do you know what? It actually made my Sunday. I wouldn't even cared if we had lost, because actually Kieran Tierney scored in his last ever game for Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, Kieran Tierney's a boy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He always has done at Celtic, at Scotland. No matter where he is, he's always a boy that wears his heart on his sleeve. Again, another very humble player, but yeah, I'm glad to see him coming back to the boys in green, and I look forward to seeing him back at Parkhead. And I'm so happy he's coming back. He's Celtic. He bleeds green. He bleeds green for Celtic, so he does. So yeah, but I'm happy for him that he got the goal on Sunday. And I did watch the Arsenal game. My uncle's a big, massive Arsenal supporter, so I try and keep in touch with the men to obviously have a chat with him. But yeah, I'm so happy for him. I'm glad to see him coming back though.
Good finish as well.
Yeah, it's a big signing.
He's
Really
always
good
had that kind of play in him. He's very injury prone though. Very injury prone. It's always injuries that let him down. But if we can keep him fit, then yeah, definitely so happy to have him back.
G just saying that Katie, what a man, going to miss him. She absolutely loves him. Catherine saying, I love that I was the one that got to announce to you Ryan who the goal scorer was. When we was doing the watch along, actually I couldn't even get a watch along, so I didn't even watch the game. I was doing a watch along and didn't watch the game. I ended up watching the Forest Chelsea game, and obviously
that was rubbish, wasn't it?
I ended up Liverpool one after about 70 minutes.
It was a terrible game. It was the worst loss. I mean, obviously I know last year we were actually involved in the last Sunday, obviously the Everton home game, but this time round it was dreadful. All the games are crap. It was really boring.
It was a dreadful game. Like, to be fair, I was so hungover. I don't even think I knew what was going on. I was so hungover. Like, we literally were drinking in the bar till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, no.
Like, absolutely, I got absolutely battered. All the
Why
drinks
do it to yourself? Oh,
and the cocktail machine come
out. Oh
God. Davin's obviously leaving the show. Obviously, enjoyable watch, but I have to bow now. Thank you very much for coming on, Davin. Mark, he's back in here, Mr. Tottenham. Sterling signed a 4-year deal to stay, 300k a week. Great signing for you guys.
To be fair, he better be careful. Like, just saying, because like they're the champions of the galaxy now. Like, people like Raheem Sterling could be attractive to Tottenham Hotspur.
Apparently, they've been offered Sane apparently today.
Bacon one.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Good evening to Sean. How you doing, mate? See some absolutely fabulous pictures again yesterday, mate. Obviously, great pictures, mate. Good to see you on. So yeah, I'm going to go to you, George. Obviously, I'm not really going to do too much of a deep dive into this game, but obviously the season's over. Finished second space, which I thought was quite important that we had to do. We go into obviously a window now with obviously Berta, who's going to at the helm, and we're expecting big things. How do you kind of obviously sum up the end of the season? Because it was a bit disappointing, weren't it, in terms of like obviously the league, that we kind of just basically give it to Liverpool. Really, we was never really in the title fight, was we? If we're being frankly honest.
No, I think we was out of it when we lost West Ham, if I'm honest. I think it's got aspects to the season. Do I think it was a great season? No, not at all. Do I think there were some really good positives? Yeah, we was in the semi-final of the Champions League. I think that still needs to be mentioned. We had shitloads of injuries. Some awful refereeing decisions went against us. Like, I think we've covered that enough. But is it where Arsenal want to be? No. I think this is the floor where we want to be. Like, next season is where we have to go and win trophies. I know I have seen Arsenal fans saying, I'd even take a Carabao Cup. Like, no. You want to be winning the Premier League, Champions League, or the FA Cup for me. So I'd say it was probably about 6 or 7 out of 10. I know some people might not agree with that, but I do think people can say it's excuses, Liam, but whether it's excuses or not, it still happened. Like, you still had Martin Odegaard out of form for a while because of an injury, and because he become a father for the first time. We still had Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, all out injured.
Ben White.
Yeah, Ben White. You know what I mean? I've just nearly named the whole.
Calafiori, Tommy Yasu.
Yeah. It's the whole team. So, and I think there was times in those games that I think it just goes back to what we said. We haven't got a squad. So that's why this transfer window for me is really, really important, because if you go out and buy the players who we're assuming we're going to buy, then those players become a squad player. Because if you think you bring a midfielder, a striker, a winger, another centre half in, then players are being added to the squad, and we'll have a bench. But when you have a bench of say 3 or 4 17-year-olds or under 23 players that have never really played, you don't really see that. Let's be honest, with some of the top teams. So I do think. I think generally for Arsenal Football Club, this summer is probably the biggest summer for the whole football club.
Definitely.
Like I've said it for the women and the men. So it'll be interesting. And I know everyone hates the transfer window, don't it? But I fucking love it. It's brilliant. I just love it because you see all the fake ITKs coming out, like they've seen Victor Yokeres in Nando's in Lisbon.
It's the people with their stupid little eyes emoji, and they just put it on there, nothing else. It's just
Yeah, we've seen a bit of that, Brooksy.
Oh, you know exactly what I mean, mate. Yeah.
Like they've seen Victor Yokeres in Nando's ordering some red sauce, so they think, oh, he's definitely signing. Or we've got Morgan Rogers is in, I don't know, Specsavers in Holloway Road. Like it's like, oh, so he must be signing. So, like, just what I if Romano or Ornstein say it, then I'm inclined to believe it.
No, definitely. Sorry, Gab's obviously asking me if I'm going to be on the show tomorrow. I've got the show Thursday. I don't think I'm going to get away tomorrow night, mate. But
who's on? Is there a game tomorrow?
Yeah.
I won't even take the piss either. I didn't.
Oh, well,
I was going to say it's not an important one, George, so you're all right.
It's Real Betis versus Chelsea. Actually, I think it actually might be
Chelsea
a good game.
Chelsea should win that.
No, I don't know, mate. I'll tell you what, Real Betis.
I think Betis are going to beat them. Anthony to score. Betis to win, mate. That's my bet. Mate, he's been on fire for them. He is.
I did see Bruno.
I
did see Bruno's meant to be going to Saudi, isn't he? Apparently.
But
it's something like 48 hours to decide if he wants to stay or if he wants to go. So he's been told.
It wouldn't take me 48 hours.
See you later.
Not with the money they're offering.
No, definitely not. No.
It is as Catherine said, though, it is the year of the underdog.
Yes.
So Chelsea probably will win then.
Yeah.
Very good.
I bet Gab liked that one, didn't he? But no, I actually think it'll be a good game tomorrow. I think it will be a good game.
I honestly didn't know that was. I thought it was next week, so
yeah,
I might watch that. Actually,
yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I need to catch up with EastEnders first because
yeah, priorities, mate. Priorities.
Yeah, big car crash this week, mate. Like,
is it?
Been struggling, mate. I ain't been able to watch the EastEnders on the oats. I've been in Lisbon. I can't.
I'll let you enjoy that, mate. I'll let you enjoy that one. But yeah, like we're gonna be doing a bit more review on the Arsenal season in our last show next week. So I think we'll kind of keep it to a minimum in terms of obviously the men's game, because obviously we can digest everything and kind of discuss it next week. Last obviously words though, John, I will go over to you. In terms of obviously Martin Odegaard, you being a big advocate, obviously backing him quite passionately over the last few weeks. You must have been happy that he scored that winning goal in the 90th minute.
Yeah, he found a shooting boost, didn't he? So, yeah, I mean.
Oh, I think we lost him.
I've lost him.
Martin Odegaard's cut into his Wi-Fi.
I think Martin Odegaard needed that, didn't he? Like he needed to score that goal before the end of the season to kind of say like
Yeah.
look, I am here and I will put everything into next season for you. But yeah, it was nice for him to get that.
I think he knows himself, Liam, as well. Like that, he's probably not been playing at the high levels that Erdegaard can play at. Let's be honest. Like since he become captain, look how far we've come. It's always been Arteta and the Erdegaard kind of partnership, isn't it? So Erdegaard's not going to be happy with us falling short again. So I think that's what. I know we've said about Declan being probably would be the best captain, but with Erdegaard, I think we have to remember he did get us. He has helped to get the players where we are now, and I don't know, like maybe like going into fatherhood for the first time, he might be carrying a bit of injury. Like there's a lot, isn't there? So I wouldn't be if he gets like a good pre-season behind him. And then hopefully we see the Martin Odegaard that we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, he waits till he has a second one, mate. Then he'll know what tiredness is.
Well, I was going to say that.
I'm going to leave it on that now as well. But no, like to be fair to Martin Odegaard, like he has been fantastic for us. But this season, I think it's just been a nightmare for him from the get-go when he got that big injury.
I think we look at it as well. Name some players that have not been like. Couldn't you say the same about Bukayo Saka since his injury?
We come back, didn't he? He had a short-term impact,
Yeah.
and it is like that because actually in the last few games, Saka was absolutely quiet. Do you know what I mean? And it is. I think they get rushed back too quickly because we haven't got anyone else, and they're so self-reliant on these players. When actually we probably need to give them more of a rest. And it's been the biggest thing that I've said about players like Saka, Saliba, and Odegaard is that they need adequate cover and they need to be rested in loads of games because the way the fixture list is now with the summer. Then we look at the Champions League increasing to 8 games. We look at obviously the run that they have to play throughout the season. They can't play every single game, and we have overplayed them. We have overplayed them.
With not having a squad, and with not having a squad, just when we have to play players like Erdegaard or that in the FA Cup games or
and the Carabao Cup as well.
Yeah.
Saka playing the Carabao Cup games, great.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. If you have decent cover. And on paper, that's probably why they bought Sterling in for Saka. But we all know well that went. So.
But that just sounds like a reoccurring problem across all Arsenal platform. Like women's, we say the same as well. Like we need players to cover for the likes of Beth Mead, Caitlin Ford, Alessia Russo, things like that. Maybe that's just a tweak Arsenal alone can maybe make between the men and the women's side.
I think you don't look at squad players anymore. You have to look at players that are probably going to push for starts. And I think that's what we're looking at. I think like we've got away one with Wanyeri with Saka, but like when we're looking at say strikers, like I think we all know what we need to do, don't we?
Yeah.
Catherine saying Arsenal now linked with Gibbs White. That'd be an interesting one.
I wouldn't mind that.
He was rubbish the other day.
Yeah. But overall.
Maybe that's because he's going to Arsenal.
Yeah, he's fitting in.
But Man City are linked with him as well, though. So.
But they get linked with every midfielder going at the moment because De Bruyne has gone.
Yeah.
And Catherine saying just don't loan players that are cup tied like now.
Exactly. Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
But surely now Eddie's gone, they will. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, obviously we're going to wrap up. Just want to say a massive thank you to everyone in the chat. Loads of engagement tonight, which is always what we'd like to see and always what we want. So really good to see you all in the chat, and obviously please come back. As I said, we will be doing our end of season review show next week, which will be the last Brooksy and Smuggo show of the year. So that would be something to look forward to.
Of the season, not the year.
Yeah,
That's a bit dramatic.
Liam's having a few months off.
You're getting sacked, mate. You ain't told you yet.
He's handed his resignation in.
But yeah, the last show next week, so we'll get that out. But it probably will be Monday night. I would have thought, wouldn't it, John?
Yeah, I think so.
Obviously, thank you very much, Laura, for coming on and obviously supporting us tonight and obviously celebrating the Arsenal women's victory.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed myself.
That's good. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. And obviously, thank you very much, George. I know how much you've travelled over the last few days, but you still got on here tonight. What a legend you are.
Cheers, man. I walked
go to
through the
sleep now.
door. Yeah, I walked through the door and Tash went, "Who are you?" But no, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
right. But no, cheers for letting me come on, Liam. Always got time for you and Brooksy. So
No, thanks very much, mate.
Heroes.
And I'm going to leave the last word to our fans tonight. So good night.
No.